Yes, sir. What's going on, Rob?
How are you, man?
I'm good, man. It's good to see you,
Good to
man.
see you too.
Uh, so that's still like the standard cap rate, though. So when you see when you get it when it's at a six cap, that's when you about to to put the offer in, right? Still, it's six cap, right? Oh,
It.
you said finding a six cap, or
I use six cap as my example, and that's a great question because there's a lot of different reasons why what cap rate you would pick, and that could be the market, that could be the property, that could be the broker, and we're going to cover that here in just a minute as well. But right now, you're pretty safe to use. I mean, unless you're in a D area and in some tertiary markets where that might be a 7 or an 8 cap right now. But you're pretty safe to just use that as a general rule of thumb. But that's all it is, Dion, is a rule of thumb. Right now, if I'm doing quick values, I'm using a 6 cap. And if it looks like it makes sense, then I'll do some research a little bit deeper and make sure that CoStar is your friend. It will tell you the local cap rates. Relationships with brokers will tell you the cap rate, the going cap rate for the particular product that you are asking about. A lot of different things. We're going to talk about that too. So great question. A cap rate determines the value of the property for those that don't know. Unlike single family, and I know this is basic for some of you, or they use the comparative sales analysis where a house that sold 2 blocks over determines your value if it's a what they call a model match, or if maybe it's got one less bedroom, so yours is worth more, and you do all that stuff that appraisers do by using the multiple listing services. But in the commercial world, it is the income that it produces, and cap rate is what that is. Now, I will tell you, there's many different factors. Getting to Dion's question, there's a lot of different factors that determine cap rates, guys. It is a moving target. Is a little bit of a science than it is anything else. And I honestly, you got two conflicting goals when the buyer and a seller come together with the meeting of the minds. One wants to get the most for the property, one wants to pay the least for the property. So coming up with what that value is a little bit of a dance, right? So no question about that. But I'm gonna go through it a little bit. So imagine you pay cash for a property. You pay $1 million cash. And that property brings in $100,000 net operating income, the way I just described it, before debt service. Debt's not included in that, just 100K. I'm just using easy numbers for easy math. That property would be a 10 cap. Now, you're probably not going to spend cash on it. You're probably going to have debt. But we take debt out of the equation when we're trying to figure out what the cap rate is based upon the income, based upon the value. Okay, so that would be a 10 cap. More realistically, you probably would have paid 1.7 for that same property, which is about a 5.8 cap. Because if it's bringing in $100,000, most areas that's going to be roughly a 6 cap. So I just threw that in there so that you understood. I'm just using round numbers so everybody can absorb how we're determining cap rate. Just think all cash purchase. It's a 6 cap. That means I paid $100,000 $1 million for a property, and it's paying me $60,000 a year net after paying all the bills. I get to have a 60 grand to bring to the tax man, right? So before taxes, right? So everybody pull out your calculators. We're going to go through a little bit of a routine here. So I want you to see if a property has NOI of a net operating income of $230,000 and the market cap rate for that property is a 6 cap, what is the value of that property? NOI divided by cap rate. So you're going to take that $230,000 on your calculator, on your phone. You're going to divide it by 0.06. What is the value? Somebody unmute yourself and tell me.
3.8 million.
Let's see. 3.833333333. You are correct, Pamela. That's how. So with a quick glance, if I know an area's cap rate, and I know what the seller and I know what the net operating income of the property is, then I can quickly determine. And let's say for the same property that we just determined based upon its NOI that it's producing, based upon what I know the market cap rates are. We'll talk about how to know what the market cap rates are here in just a moment. But if I know what the cap rates are based upon my investigation, my due diligence, and my relationships in the market, and I know that cap rate is a 6 in my example, and I know that income's 230, and I know this buyer is asking for $5 million for this $3.8 million property, I know he's priced too high. And how quickly do I know that, Pamela? With a blink of an eye, because I already know. I just got to pull out my phone, look down at a P&L, see what his NOI is, and run the calculation that you just did on your calculator. That's how fast you can determine if a deal is close enough to reality. And that's when I would go to a broker before wasting any time underwriting that project. Now, I would look for value plays, but I'm never going to look for a value play that takes a $3.8 million property up to what the seller's looking for. He should have brought it to me with those value plays already exercised if he's looking for that price. So, and a little bit more to that. But if he's asking $6 million for their property and it generates $400,000 in NOI, what is the cap rate they're asking? So we're going to do it a different way. Keep your phones out, run this equation. So if I take the income, it's generating $400,000, and I divide it by the value that they're asking, $6 million. Let's say they're not telling me what the cap rate is, but I know what they're asking, and I can look down at the P&L and I know what it's generating. What's the cap rate?
6.6.
6.6. He's asking a 6.6 cap rate. Which honestly, if I know from my own due diligence and experience in this market that it's a 6 cap market and he's asking 6.6, I know I can spend some time on this. I'm not going to waste any time chasing a deal that's not even close. This one's actually priced pretty competitively. In fact, I better act a little fast on this one because I'm not the only one that's going to figure out that it's a 6.6 and a 6 cap market, right? So you want it. These are the little things that help me determine how quickly I move on something or if I move at all. Okay. So you just want to know these. You pull out your phone and do a cap rate calculation. If you know that the NOI divided by the cap rate is going to tell you if they're close on value, and the income divided by what they're asking is going to tell you the cap rate that they're asking. Oftentimes they don't put that as part of the marketing package. Because they're asking the 3 cap. Not in this case, they probably would have it on there because they're gonna advertise the fact that they're giving this away. This is a pretty good deal for this market. And again, we're gonna go deeper on this. I'm gonna go a little bit deeper on, like Dion was asking, hey, you used a 6 cap. Well, I use a 6 cap just as a general guideline. But I will tell you what determines cap rates. Oh my goodness, the list is long, guys. But I'm gonna hit like the top 5 here. Number 1, the market, right? Cap rates in San Diego are not going to be the same as Minot, North Dakota. It's really that simple. Why? Demand, right? Demand. People want to live, right? Gustavo, it looks like I missed that you had a question on cap rates. Do you want me to keep rolling for a minute and then you can ask afterwards if I haven't answered it?
Sure. Let's go.
Okay, cool. Sorry I missed that. I just saw it. So the market determines what the cap rate is, the area of that market, because there's good areas. We all know that. There's A, B, C, and D areas, right? If you're in a D area, your cap rate's going to be higher, which means your property is valued less than if you're in a B area, B plus area. It's really that simple. The condition of the property. What about deferred maintenance? What about the interiors? Do we have classic, what we call classic units inside? Do we have modern units inside, or do we have premium or platinum units inside? Maybe the area doesn't justify platinum or even premium, but if classic or modern are going to be a little bit different of what that cap rate brings. It's really that simple. The income that it produces, as we talked about a moment ago, that's going to be the foundation. That's going to be the foundation of any other conversations about what cap rate this brings, because it's going to be based upon that income. You can have a C property in a C minus area that is throwing off cash like no other, and you will get a premium cap rate for that product in that area just because you've already proven, you've got proof that social proof, if you will, that this makes money and that it works. Sometimes it's the selling broker, guys. You know, people will complain. You'll hear in our industry, at least in the multifamily industry, that Marcus and Millichap, oh my gosh, they're so overpriced. Not overpriced. They're so high in price. They want a premium for when they're selling a property and listing a property. And the answer is, you're right. But the marketing package, the marketing research that they do, as well as their buying list of buyers that they have available to them, they will sometimes get you a better price, which means it was a lesser cap rate. So sometimes the choice of the broker on disposition is a big, big deal. Okay? So that's just, again, we're going to go deeper into cap rates on our next session on the 25th. But that's kind of a flyby, and I'm going to fly by a number of terms here today, guys. So don't get frustrated with me. Again, this is a shorter bonus section, and I just want to touch base on some of this stuff. Although I know some of you are still going to grab quite a bit out of this. Okay.